Friday, bro.
Happy Friday.
Thank you for jumping on board to do a chat with me. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Yeah, no problem. I wasn't really doing much today other than trying to figure out my album. That's about it.
Really? Well,
hmm
yeah. How's that going?
I mean, it's going good. I've been working on it like for the last, I don't know, like 5 months or so. I'm kind of like on the 12th song, and I think I'm going to be done after that. It's
Cool.
going good, though. It's going good. It's just been like a lot of so much stuff has happened these last couple of months. Like, I haven't really had time to like, I wrote like, yeah, I wrote like 8 songs in like 1 month. And that was like in September, I think. I was on a roll in September, but then things just got busy. So I'm happy to kind of get back into like the writing stages.
Yeah. Yeah. This seems like a breakout year for you, bro.
Yeah.
In a couple different ways, like and monumental. Like you just got married, right?
Yeah, I got married. I got married back in October. I got married on October
Congratulations.
8th. Thanks, man. That was cool because me and my wife, we've never really taken a vacation. So we
Mm.
had like a whole week off. We've been together for 8 years and we've just been working like dogs. So we just finally, we were like, yeah, let's just take a week off and elope. It was great.
I love that for you, man. That's especially if you're been in the grind for so long, like
hmm
professionally and personally, in a way that it's good. Vacations are underrated. When you haven't had one or have never really done it, and then you go and you do it, and you're like, "Wait a second, you could have space like this,
Yeah,
and
man.
just, like, not be checking my phone all the time, and just be, like, with my girl, my people," you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to do though. Like if you don't have the bread for it, good luck. I mean, we had to save up and luckily I'm making a little bit more money this year, so I'm able to kind of like relax a little bit more, but like it's been a long time coming. We're going on our honeymoon this month and we're just going to go to Salem, Massachusetts and just chill. Nothing crazy.
Is it the witch trial stuff that's drawing you out there, or, like, was it something
Nah, I
else?
g I guess it's like we wanted somewhere that's, like, cozy, it's, like, pretty around Christmas time.
Uh-huh.
So, like, originally, we were gonna go to Europe and all this stuff, but we just kinda we didn't plan it right, or we didn't get the tickets, like, soon enough to where it made sense to get them.
Uh,
But we just wanted somewhere, like, nice and cozy, and it seemed like, that city, and from what the research we did, it was like, "Oh, it's nice." Like, it's slow town, and that's kinda like how I am. I'm not like I was raised in the city, but I don't like the city that much.
uh, uh-huh.
I'm very much a homebody. I just wanna stay home and relax and, make music and watch anime, and sometimes I go out to shows, but it's very rare to see me at a show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what's your original city? Are you from SoCal?
Mhm.
Yeah?
I'm from LA.
Okay.
Yeah. I sure am.
So you're
Yeah.
still you're still basically in your own hood, probably a little different from where
Yeah,
you were originally?
the city that I'm in, yeah, it's like I'm still in LA, but it's kinda like not too much out of the way. I'm not trying to dox myself.
Good, good,
But
good.
yeah, yeah, but I very much is still like in the vicinity of LA, yeah.
And, have you traveled a lot? I mean, I know you've done some touring and stuff, but have you traveled a lot around the country at all
The
to other
only
cities?
time yeah, the only time I got to travel was when I went on tour last year in November, and I went to 27 states.
Damn, that's cool.
Um, I did just play a show in New York and, well, like, last week, so that was cool. But, yeah, that's I've been to Canada for some work, but I haven't really, like, I'm hoping next year or not hoping, it's gonna happen, like, I'm gonna be traveling a lot next year, so there's gonna be a lot of traveling, yeah.
Good for you, man. Well, I'm excited that it's probably all exciting and business related in that respect, right? It's gonna involve you and making music for yourself and others, sounds
Yeah,
like.
no yeah, it's gonna be definitely the traveling is gonna be, like, Ando san stuff, so,
Cool.
that's exciting.
Bro, and I would love for you to give us some insight on, I mean, because prior to the last EP, it seems like you had a lot going on, like, exploration-wise, guitar, kind of, like, upbeat, kinda shreddy, kind of, like, lo-fi. You had a bunch of cool different kinds of music, like, in underneath your name, and then it's like you exploded out with the hip hop stuff in a way that, like, I don't know, was that something that was always kind of planned, or is it something that something happened in your life and you're like, "That's it, this is my new direction," like, and I'm just curious about how that came about.
So, like or, like, how, like, my journey in music came about?
Yeah, the transformation that we seem to be in the middle of or watching you go through in a way.
I feel like I'm, like, constantly transforming. Originally, I was a death metal vocalist in a death metal band, and then from there, I started playing guitar because of Tosin, because I saw Animals as Leaders when I was, like, 16 years old, and that kinda made me wanna play
Damn.
guitar. I was playing bass at the
Hell
time,
yeah.
but then I just kind of I don't know, to see a black dude like, playing prog metal and, like, dominating in that field was, like I was like, "I could do that." So, like,
Mm,
that inspired me to kind of pick up the guitar and start, like, practicing and stuff, and it became my main instrument, and, after that, I was in a prog metal band called Incipients, and then long story short, I started delving into kind of like this because at that time, I was making beats and stuff,
mm,
and I was like, "Okay, cool, like, what if I just, like, produce the beat and then just play guitar over it?" So, I started dabbling with that. I've told the story, like, couple times, but we were recording in the same studio. My friend Nick Morzoff, we were recording in his studio, and at that time, he was working with Animals as Leaders, I remember I don't even know if I should tell this story. I'll bring it up, but is this guitar player named Al Joseph. I remember it was Al Joseph, Yas Namora, and Hedras Ramos. And I
mm.
remember we were at a bar, and I remember Al Joseph, he I don't know if he'll remember this. He's a keyboard artist as well.
Yeah,
So
he's
I'm
my boy,
wondering
dude. I love Al.
I'm wondering if he's gonna remember this.
Maybe.
He he kind of, like, made fun of my guitar playing, and not in, like, a bad way, but he was kinda, like, critiquing me, you know?
Mhm, mhm.
Like, he was
Sure.
saying, "Oh, like, you don't have an original sound. You sound like this guy. You sound like this." And I remember my friend Hedras Ramos, he was kind of, like, in agreement with Al Joseph, because at that time, I was in a prog metal band, and it was just pretty much like an Animals as Leaders ripoff band. And it was,
Mm,
like, I literally was we were playing like Animals as Leaders, and I didn't really have my own sound. And I remember they were just ragging on me, man, like, imagine, like, these 3 sick guitar players just, like, I don't know, just, like, on your head about, like, your playing, like, it
yeah.
struck the chord in me, man, and I remember I left the bar, and I was sitting I don't know, I was, like, sitting outside somewhere, and I just started crying, and then, like, I made an oath to myself. I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna prove these motherfuckers wrong."
Oh, shit.
So
I love this.
that's when I started the Ando project. I started dabbling with, like, mixing these 2 ideas together, and I remember I was showing Nick Morzoff some ideas. This was, like, my first EP, Vitality, and, I was showing Nick, like, "Hey, man, like, this is some stuff that I'm working on," and then, like, Nick was like, "Oh, that's cool," and at that time, I was recording an EP for my prog metal band Incipients, and Nick, he's friends with all the Animals as Leaders guys. He shows Javier, like, an Incipients track, and pretty much, Javier was like, "Oh, like, this is just Animals as Leaders." It's cool to see a local band play the stuff that we play, but it's nothing original, and I agreed with that. And then he showed them the Ando stuff, and then he was like, "Oh, yeah, this is sick, they should do this." Yeah, and, like,
Mm,
that kinda opened my brain. I'm like, "Ah, okay, I got something. This is it." So
mhm,
I quit Incipients, and then I started doing Andosan full time. And that year, I was working at like the school as it's like an assistant, like on the field, like to watch the kids and stuff. I wasn't making a
mhm.
lot of money, and I made an oath to myself. I had a band camp. I was like, dude, if I can make similar amount or more amount than I made at the school off band camp, I'm gonna quit. So
Nice.
then sure enough, I released that EP and I made more money on Bandcamp than I did at the school. So I quit the school and I
That makes
started
me so happy.
I
It's like
started
so
doing
such a good story already.
and I started doing music full time. And ever since I've been full time for 7 years and like, oh man, those first couple of years were rough, like, but every year it just got easier, like I made more connections, was going to NAMM. I also forgot to mention the part that I won like this riff contest with Legator back in the day, dude. That was one of my first endorsements. And that kind of led me to going to NAMM and like meeting people. And like
Mm,
honestly, if it wasn't for NAMM, I wouldn't have the connections that I have now. The guitar industry connections that I have acquired is because of NAMM. And like I feel like at that time for NAMM, like when I was going, it was like at its height, you know. Like
mm.
I don't know, like at least for my generation, it was like it
What
was.
year was that roughly?
Oh
You
man,
s
I'm 30 now, so that I was like 19, 20, 18. So I went to my first NAMM when I was 18 years old.
Cool.
So I've been going every year since I was 18 and I've seen like just the ebb and flows of it. But like, yeah, I feel like the best couple of years were like when I was like 20, 21, 22. Like it was, man, I still love NAMM, but like during those times, it was just like I made a lot of connections. And, I in terms of the music, I flip-flop in my head a lot on what I wanna do, and I
Mm,
feel like every project is just this new thing, I had Vitality, which was just kind of like guitar-centered, like, loop beats with, like, just cool guitar riffs, and then I did Delete This, which was a little bit more proggy, and then after that, my first album, Schemin' Season, which was kind of like lo-fi, I guess, esque, but like still had like hip hop elements. And
mhm,
then like as I was doing that, I've always been kind of like a rapper in secret. Like I could kinda consider myself like a poet because
mm,
when I was younger, I used to write a lot of poems, and I did listen to a lot of hip hop. I mean, there was so much hip hop around me growing up. A lot of my family were a lot of people rap, made beats and stuff, so that was always in me, but I started developing confidence with my voice because 'cause I've never really liked the way my voice sounded, and I kinda had to accept the way that I sounded and kind of like, I don't know, figure out a way to like stylize it, to make it
mhm,
me because it is me. I need to accept that. And I started recording vocals, and then I made my second album, Sometimes a Beat Like That had like a couple of vocal stuff, but it wasn't really anything crazy. That it was in the vein of like more like Thundercat stuff, like very jazzy, like uh but then I released my EP Intuition that had, like, all vocal stuff and, like, I feel like that EP was very much centered into it was just, like, good songs, like, there wasn't really any, like, cool guitar stuff. I was experimenting with, like, thumping, with, like, like, rap and, like, stuff, which I think a lot of people weren't really doing at that time,
mhm,
like, combining, like, the thumping with, like, the rap and, like, the singing and stuff. Like, I have the song called Presence, and it has, like, a dance vibe to it, like a Chicago house dance vibe, but it's, like, thumping over it. There's, like, a saxophone solo. So, I was experimenting. After that, I think what did I release? Bipolar. I released my album Bipolar, and that album was very much a hip hop album. Like, I wanted to make a hip hop album but still have like progressive guitar elements into it. But that's when I started experimenting more with like my MCing and stuff.
mm.
And then from there, I'm trying to think. I came out with so much music. It's hard for me to remember. But the I would say the after that, I think I was coming out with singles. I'm trying to remember. I was just coming out with singles, and I did the tour, and it was a hard tour, man. That was a hard tour, man. But I did it. It was my first tour, and I it was my first tour, had no idea what I was getting myself into, It was a month long. I planned mentally for like the whole it was very hard for me to be away from my fiance at the time. Like that was the longest we've ever been away from each other. And like that was super duper hard. But I survived and somehow I wasn't in the red. I broke even on that tour.
Nice.
Um
Wow.
yeah, I was hustling, man. I was really hustling because, I was out there selling merch, just doing my thing. 'Cause it also, like, the people that I was with, like, really helped me kind of, like, understand what needed to be done, you know? A big shout out to Joey.
Mm.
Joey, the drummer, he's drummer. He really helped me out. I think after I got back from that tour, can I cuss?
Yeah, fuck it up.
Yeah, I was fucking mad, man. I was pissed, dude. I had so much anger
Mm,
pent up in me. I never really wrote about my anger before. I was like, it'd be interesting to talk a little bit of shit on this on the record. So that's
yeah.
when I started working on my EP OK.
Mm,
And I got a little bit more like raw and like rugged in terms of like like lyrically.
uh-huh.
And, yeah, I wrote that EP in a
Sick,
month,
dude.
man.
You were
Freaking
on
got
one.
back home. Yeah, I got back home. I wrote all that shit in a month, got a mix, and then I dropped it. And, like, in terms of rollout for that EP, I had a good friend of mine named Arion. He helped me kind of map out what we should do for the EP. Because I've always had like my own thing and how I do things, but we were like, hey, like we should like do like posts, like let's market it. Like, like we had no budget, nothing,
Yeah.
And like even that dash out video, the video that went viral, like, dude, I spent like $130 on that video.
Oh, I love that.
And me and Ariane, we
Damn.
were just like, "Hey, let's just film this. Let's get in the room. This room's cool."
Uh-huh.
It was just like this office space with the brown walls.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it started taking off slowly, but there was like a month where it just like shoo, I don't even know what happened, man. I think if it's funny because I got tons of messages from like my peers from like other artists asked me, "What did you do? Did you run ads? Like,
Right.
what did you do?" I was like, "Bro, I didn't do shit, man. I just posted it on YouTube. It wasn't even supposed to be a music video. It was just supposed to be like content, like nothing crazy, you know what I mean?" And sure
Mm,
enough, it blew up, And I think if I through that process, I also got signed with Kiesel.
right.
Um, and I felt like that was the catalyst, man, because I think when we announced me signing to Kiesel, a lot of people were like, "Who's this guy?" And they weren't expecting that sound.
No.
So
No. Bro, you like I will say this, dude. Like a quick shout out to Jesse Zaretti for connecting us
yeah, man,
because
shout
Jesse's
dude,
our boy.
Jesse, yeah,
Like
man.
I mean he's done a ton for me, ton for Kiesel, probably a ton for
Yes.
you,
I
know,
love
and
Jesse, dude. Jesse,
um
yes, yeah, yes.
it was a timely thing, and I remember very clearly, like, we are getting ready to announce the Kyber, and, I'm feeding him, like, insider information. He's like, "You know who you should talk to?" And I'm like, I've heard that name, and I, like it's like, heard Ando son." He's like, "Yeah, you need to go check him out right now." Like, 'cause if even if you did hear him a while back, it's a different thing right now. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Yeah, dude, it's like, he's such a sweet dude, but he fucking tears it up lyrically," and he's like and so it's like this great contrast, you know?
Yeah,
And
Jesse,
y
dude.
I love that you spoke to the part just a moment ago about getting in contact with your anger. Like, that's and how that is in a way helped you flourish because you're just like, "You know what? There's this part of my character is gonna let him have it. Like, Imma let him have it, and that's just the way it is, and you don't get it another way." So, and I love that it aligns with the trajectory of, like, signing with Kiesel and the world going, "Wait a second. I never heard this before. What the fuck's going
Mhm.
on? Wait, run that back again, because I can't compute it. I have to hear it a few more times.
Yeah.
Oh shit, this is a thing. What are we calling it? Prog hop?
Yeah.
I love it,
Yeah.
dude. I love it.
Yeah, but dude, yeah, that was definitely Jesse, like, was putting the pieces together, got us together, got signed to Kiesel. And then that I think that was, like I said, that was the catalyst because right after, like, I released that video, there was one video that the announcement of me being a Kiesel artist, that's when we started working on the Dash Out video, and the Dash
Mhm.
Out, that song, I personally thought the song that was all the songs, I honestly, in my opinion, all did well, but I thought the song that was going to be the song was Big Dog because that was like one of
Mm.
my first, I guess, like viral videos on Instagram. And like
Mhm.
that's when I started like all these industry people started contacting me, and messages left, right. I mean, dude, like this year's been wild, man. Like I'm like homies with Randy Jackson now, like he's
Randy's awesome.
yeah, he's a good friend of mine now. He got into contact with me just through all the stuff that I'm talking about, But like, yeah, this that was when I was like, okay, something is like changing now because like these people are kind of paying. I have like an audience that are like paying attention intently with what I'm doing. And I wasn't trying to think about it too much, but like I'm glad I didn't because if it was me like 2 years back, I would have felt so much pressure. Like I'm like, oh, but like at the time when all this was happening, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. I mean, I've been at it for 7 years now. Like
Mm.
it was something was gonna come, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like the planning and like everything was just kind of like well planned and like happened at the right time. I think the timing was really good, and that EP really helped. And this dude is only gonna be like it's gonna be it's only a couple months old, the EP,
Mhm. Mm.
It's still fresh, like,
Mhm.
it's still pretty new. In the grand scheme of things and social media, it's old, but it's only
It
been, like I released it back in on my birthday, March 22nd,
Right.
2025, so I
Yeah.
still feel the effects of it, like, it's still, and now I have management, I'm managed by Leander. I'm managed by Future History Management. They manage bands like Sleep Token, Thornhill,
Wow,
and
that's cool.
and stuff. So I just played two of the biggest shows in my career. I opened for President. That was really awesome. I played a sold out show in New York at the Gramercy Theater, and then I played a sold out show at the Roxy Theater.
Wow, congratulations, that's
And
killer.
actually, wait, this guitar,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I used this guitar for both shows. So
So sick. I still love I love seeing that one. That's so
yeah,
good,
it's such a sick guitar, man.
bro. I mean, I now it's funny that you bring up, like, that EP isn't very old, 'cause I agree with you, and I know that theoretically, but it does I'm like, I already feel like the red Kyber is, like, iconic.
Yeah.
Like I told Jeff Kiesel, I was like but the funny thing is that it felt instantly iconic to me. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know how everybody else feels, like, they'll have to let us know in the comments, but, like, I feel like the moment I s this okay, and I'm glad that Tosin is a big part of your inspiration too, because for this reason, because I was there at the beginning of Animals as Leaders, like, at the very beginning, their first real big couple of tours when they hit the West Coast, they came through with Dillinger Escape Plan. I was living in Seattle. I was working for Mackie and Ampeg. It was the beginning of my career, and I was so excited to see Dillinger with the new singer and, like, all this stuff, and then here's Animals as Leaders, like, and I remember getting, like, the chill, like, watching Tosin and the band, like, with Naveen and everything, I was like, "Oh, man, the fucking future's here. This is" I mean, I'm getting chills, I'm getting, like, electric lightning bolts, like, I'm seeing history being made right fucking
Yeah.
now, like, that all, like, cataloged in my brain, right? And it's like, I remember talking to Tosin that night, and but I remember going, "Bro, what is it like, right now, right here, where you're at? I can see where you're at. And where you're at is, like, the world is starting to wake up and pay attention to you, bro. And you have, like, this ginormous catalog of inspiration that you're blending into you're melding worlds for people, and you're bringing them into a new sound, and it's really cool." And he was like, "Yeah, man," and he was kind of talking like you, like, "Man, this year's been crazy, like, people are kind of paying attention, like, right, like, and all this stuff." And
Yeah.
I'm so excited, man. Like, it's so cool. Like, and then it's been, fast forward like 20 years almost now. Like, we're coming in on it. And when I think of how I saw you with the red Kyber for the first time, I was like, it's like it's interesting to see a new, fresh thing coming from a similar place where it's like, well, no, there's all these beautiful things that it's not quite. It's not quite this prog thing, it's not quite this hip hop thing, it's not quite this other thing, and it's so expertly blended through you, the human being that is, like, filtering all those cool inspirational things, and then it's, like, coming out in this way that feels like, "Shit, dude, like, he just invented something that we didn't even know we wanted." Like, I didn't even know I really wanted that, but now I want more, you know?
Wow,
It's
that's very
cool, man.
kind. Yeah, man, that's cool. It's very interesting you put it in perspective, like, that is crazy, and I remember I man, I would get compared to Tosin so much, and, like, it
Mm,
would bother me, man, because
mm,
that was around the time, Al Joseph, Yasunimura, Hedras, those 3, if
mhm.
they see this, they'll know, man. They'll know that night, man,
Yeah,
that they were on my ass. That was around time. I was like, "Man, I don't sound like Tosin, blah, blah, blah." I was like, I was young. I was like, "Fuck that, man." I remember he sent me a message. Tosin sent me a message, like, saying, like, "Hey, man, you're sick, dude. Like, you're gonna find your
mm,
sound one day.
mm,
Don't worry. Like, you got it." Like, just like I can't forget. I forget. That's pretty much the gist of the message that he sent, and like that really helped me because like to
mm,
hear that from one of my favorite guitar players, I was like, okay, like I just gotta just keep going, like
yes.
and just see what happens with my brain. And I think
That
as I got more mature, I started to understand, like, things more and, like, the interesting thing is, like, I'm still discovering my sound, like, this album, I would say, is kind of like this album I'm working on is more or less kind of like okay, like my EP, but it's, like, revolutionized.
mm,
Like, I'm evolving that sound more.
cool.
So because it was just an EP, like, I'm
Mm,
sure people would wanna hear it. I wanted to hear an album of that, but,
yes.
like, with, a little bit more newer things added to it, production-wise,
Sure.
more rapping too, like, the way that I'm rapping on this album is completely different from how I'm rapping on any of my projects ever. Like, this is probably the
Mm.
best I've ever rapped in my life, so
Well,
yeah.
I'm
So,
peaked.
like
My interest is high, sky high, bro. It's gonna be
yeah,
great.
yeah, yes, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait for people to hear it, man, because I've been working hard on it, and I
What's
think me so what are you gonna say?
I was to say, I wanted to go back and just comment on the fact that Javier and Tosin both at different times, like Javier was like heard the Ando song stuff and was like, yeah, they should do this, and he should do this, and for Tosin to kind of comment to you, um, thankfully we live in an age where it's more or less easy to reach out for if they want to, if they have the time and the cognizance to do it. Our heroes could find us and be like, "Yo, dude, keep going," you know, like,
Yeah.
and I had my own little version of it with Dimebag Darrell, like when I was like early on when I was young and I met him and I barely just started playing guitar and we were asking him questions backstage and stuff and one of the things he's like, man, he's like, just raise all kinds of hell, man. Dimebag says go. Get going. Do it. And we're like, fucking, yeah, if Pantera says do it, then we should probably put a band together and just figure it out. And we didn't go anywhere, but we had the best time of our lives, like touring. And in the back of my mind, it was always like, I don't know, Dimebag said to do it. So I kind of have to. I mean, why would I not, like,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
to hear that you got nudged in that way, that's beautiful. I'm super thankful for that.
Yeah, man. I feel like everything has been so interesting. There's been a lot of very interesting things that happened to me. Like I haven't really like even the stories that I'm telling you now, like I've hinted at these stories, but I've never really like told them like completely. So
Mm.
it's very interesting, and it puts me in perspective. It makes me realize I really have come a long way. Like it's crazy. Like, and I'm still going. Like there's still so much for me to do, and it's kind of like only the beginning. It's like I feel like you constantly evolve and like in this career. Like I don't know. The way that I see it, it's like you're just constantly evolving and there's always gonna be like these little plateaus that you hit and then you hop over it and you're like, "Holy shit," like, "Wow." And that happens constantly. If you keep going, like, and you don't stop, it happens all the time and it's nonstop, nonstop.
That's cool. So do you you know, jumping back to you just kinda telling us the consideration or the feeling around the new album and how you're taking the OK sound and evolving it and kind of giving it more depth and width maybe and all this. I'm curious if you have any intuition or premonition around if Ando-san is going to stay in this realm now, or if you're gonna continue to kind of revisit just kind of obtuse, different kinds of things underneath the same writing moniker, you know, do you or how
Yeah.
do you feel about that at this
I'm
point?
dude, after this album, I wanna do some weird shit, man.
Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. Because I know you got it in you because it's
Yeah,
apparent, you
yeah.
know?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, like, I think I'm done after this album, I'm gonna be done writing angry music for a while, and then I'm
'Kay.
gonna get back I think I wanna, like, get back more into, like, some bipolar stuff after the album
Mhm.
and just make it super jazz, prog, like, I'm thinking of, like I remember the Project Tram?
Yeah, oh, yeah. That was
S
sick.
something like that, man, like,
Okay, okay.
I would love to do something like that, but like and rap over it, like, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
but,
an
like
interesting project that doesn't, like, get a lot of love anymore. I mean, it was just that one album, but very cool
yeah,
project,
that
yeah.
that is a cool project, man. They had freaking, who do they have? Eric Moore on the drums, I
Dude,
forget
Eric.
yeah, I
What is
forget
Eric doing these days? I don't even know where he's at. Is he
doing dope shit, I don't know what he's
Yeah, I need
doing,
to
but
look him up.
he's one of my favorite drummers.
Dude, you get to
Yeah.
see that guy live, your life gets changed. Like, you know,
Yeah.
if you know anything about music, you care anything about drums, and you see Eric play, forget about it. You're not the same afterwards. It's just
Mhm.
not it's not an option.
Yeah, yeah,
I seen him play with Suicidal Tendencies,
I
uh,
know.
for a while, and I was like, "Dude, you even slay this, like, in just a way that I wasn't preparing for." Uh,
Yeah.
he's killer.
So wild, man. But yeah, like not like so like some like tram, but at the same time, like more hip hop. Like I
Yes.
think that'd be cool. Like and I almost now I'm thinking about it, that's like bipolar was almost like that, but also like, I play with Andy Prado. I think the next record I wanna make the record with him to play drums on. I already have like some musicians in mind. Like I think I was gonna hire some musicians, like write a lot of the music and then just like have these musicians come in and like record stuff. I'm thinking so far ahead. I still gotta I still gotta finish my album that I'm working on now. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that
It's
goes
hard
to
not
show
to.
that I'm thinking about all this. Like I am, dude. Like
Well, and I can only imagine that the success and the attention helps you be more in a way, kind of more optimistic about future projects, obviously, right? Because you're like, "Oh, shit, if this is working out, okay, you guys want more of that? No problem." Like, actually already have a whole album that I'm gonna do, and you can start because you've done it so many times now that it's just like, "Now I just get to do it better. I get to do it
yeah,
with
and
cooler
things are
people," and
yeah, it's getting bigger. Ever since I got management, I've had eyes on me in terms of like label stuff and all that stuff. So like things are getting bigger and like and more real.
Mm,
I've been doing it independently for a while, but the prospect of getting signed next year is up there now. So those
nice.
are some things I have to think about. And yeah, I think a lot of the meetings I've had a lot of industry people are like, "Yeah, there's no one doing what you're doing?" And that's kind of like the thing. It's like this untapped like I'm trying to think like them. Like I'm trying to think of what they think of me. Like this
Mm,
untapped thing that has not seen the light of day and like no one's doing it. And it's like this I can imagine it can feel like it's like some unfathomable resource that you can just kind of like I kind of think of like new metal, like when new metal came out, dude, like
yes.
that's like a perfect genre. Like people were just like, oh shit, like no one was making shit like that, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
was
you
watching
that's a good
no, what were you gonna
comparison right
say?
there. That's a
Yeah,
great
yeah, yeah, yeah.
comparison.
Yeah, so like that's and a lot of people compare me to new metal. I think that's fine. I don't really listen to new metal like that, but I can't really say that fully because I love Deftones. Even though I've seen documentaries of Deftones and like they didn't really consider themselves new metal. Like they, like they're like, oh, like new metal, yeah, I guess, like blah 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 blah. But Corn, I love Corn, I love
Okay.
Mudvayne. I mean, but they weren't like kind of like my influences. System of a Down, another one that I really loved, you know? Um, because at that time when I was younger, I was listening to Opeth and fucking MF Doom, man, like
See, that I was gonna say, what would you how would you yeah, like, how would you characterize, like, your original, like, influences? And right there, if you Opeth and MF Doom, bam, Ando-san. Like, that's what we're gonna do. That's cool, man. I mean, I in the bands that you listed there are all so interestingly unique, like, kind of
All unique.
late 90s, mid late
Yeah.
90s, that came about. And, 90 as this culture now fetishizes the 90s in a way. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's really interesting to look back and make comparisons because the bands that came out during that time, especially the early 90s with the grunge and the diversity in the grunge scene, and then the diversity in the new metal scene. At the time when we were going through it, nobody could fully appreciate it in the way that we can now because we look back and we go,
Yeah, that was
damn,
sick. Yeah.
that era created all. I mean, it's such a wide thing, and
Yeah.
each band, like a band like System of a Down, the first couple of albums were like, in a way, kind of listening to Ano-san. I didn't know that I wanted to hear this,
Yeah.
but I do. Like, I love the quirkiness. I love that it doesn't fully remind me of something that I've heard before, yet a lot of the elements are there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's that 90s aesthetic Y2K stuff is definitely prevalent now. You have a lot of bands trying to recapture that vibe, and it makes sense because at that time, I mean, I was a child, but I look back at like the year 2000, like, dude, that was sick.
mhm,
That
mhm,
was
mhm.
sick, dude. Like, I understand why they're trying to they're
Yes.
they're trying to capture that essence because, man, it was so raw and, like, it was sick, man, like, it was cool. It was cool, like, and, I like that. I feel like now, like, music now, everyone has different opinions of it, but I feel like this is, like, the best time for music. And, like, in terms of, like, bands that I've listened to, like, there's so many good bands and, like, there's so much good music out there, like, I actively try to look for new artists
Mhm.
and, yeah, man, like, specifically with even with hip hop too, there's, like, so much good hip hop, man, like, so much good metal, like, my manager showed me this band, I think they're called Tribal Glaze or
Ooh,
Tribal Gaze. They're like this
Tribal
death
Gaze.
yeah, this death metal band.
Cool.
Sick, dude.
Really?
Sick classic death metal. I was like,
Mm,
"Ah, see, there was people still making shit like this? Oh yeah, dude, like, yeah."
that's cool. I was gonna ask you, did you have any, hip hop albums that dropped this year that you liked?
The new Coast Contra was really good.
Coast Contra.
Yeah, I think they dropped this EP. I'm trying to think of some more. I have like a list actually. I would have
Mm.
to bring up the list of
Bro,
on my
have you checked out are you a fan of Aesop Rock?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
His latest one,
I haven't listened to his latest. He came out with an album?
yeah, it's, here, let me pull it up too, because 'cause I've
Oh,
listened to
sick.
it's actually my outside of your album, I've listened to his album the most, and it's, like, because I just put it in my headphones at the gym, man, and I found myself he's so dense, as a lot of really good hip hop artists, good lyricists are, but Aesop in
Yeah,
particular is like a plus 10 density than a lot of hip hop artists because of his wordplay and his vocal ability. But the
yeah.
album is called "I Heard It's a Mess There Too," and it's a
Okay.
it's a really good. I mean, it reveals each listen. I'm like, oh man, there's so many because I feel like with Aesop, and this has kind of been his career thing. I remember since Daylight EP when I first found him, I really loved that. But he like upon first listen, I hear the barrage that he is delivering, and I'm like, "This is just he's just saying words, and he's like kind of rhyming." And that's how my brain tried to explain it away to me. But then
Yeah,
after you've listened to it 5, 6 times, and you're like, "Oh shit, he makes sense with it all." I'm putting it together, and like this latest album, I probably listened to it probably 50 times or something now. I mean, and I'm like, I'm
okay.
catching
I'm gonna
all the
put that
subtext, with
I
each
put that
lesson.
on my list right now.
It's a good one, man.
Okay, sick. I heard it's a mess there too.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm already putting it on my sick.
dude. Yeah, that one, I don't know what other albums you've listened to. The
I
my
know
favorite
there's an
ones.
artist named Red Veil. He
Red
just
Veil?
came out with an album. Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Called Sankofa. Now that one's good. I listened to that one. Man, this artist named Gabriel Jacoby, man, he
Okay.
came out with this record called Gutter Child. Man, it's sick.
Really? Okay.
It's dope, man. It's so cool, man. And like, the way that he's marketing the album too is so badass. Open Mike Eagle came
I
out
like
with a
him.
record new record too. Yeah, I'm just looking through my list.
Gutter Child's recent too, just last month.
Yeah, that's super recent, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm putting that in my queue.
Lucid, he came out well, that record, I think, came out last year, I think, but
Okay.
he's a rapper, he's really cool. And then like, I've been listening to a band called Wet Leg. You ever heard of them?
No.
I
What's
really
their
like them.
what's their vibe? Wet Leg?
They're kind of like rock. They're just like a rock band, you know?
Oh, Wet Leg. Yeah, yeah. I was like, why have I heard that? Paul Masvidal from Cynic, he hit me up. He was like, you should sign this band. And I'm like, and I'm like, okay, how do I get in touch with Wet Leg? I remember now. I was like, why is that familiar?
Yeah, they're sick, dude.
They're
They're
cool, man.
badass.
Yeah, that's
They're
trip.
sick, man.
Couple of rad chicks doing cool music. That's
Yeah,
cool.
dude, it's badass, man. Like, I really fuck with it, man. And there's also another artist I discovered this year. His name is G17. He's from Germany. One of my favorite artists right now. One of my favorite. He's actually gonna be on my album.
Ooh,
He's gonna be a featured artist, and man, like, he's phenomenal,
like
phenomenal.
vocalist?
Yeah, like, he's a producer, engineer, and he sings, he plays drums, he plays guitar. It's
Damn.
kinda like me in a
Mhm.
way, like, he kinda, like, produces everything himself. He has his own studio, you know, like, he's shit. He's so talented, dude, like, honestly, like, I'm hoping he releases his album, 'cause I've heard his album.
Really?
He like, how you feel about me with like, "Oh, man, this is something I never heard before." That's how I feel with him. Something
Cool.
I've never heard before. Crazy, man, and it's, like, hard it's hard for me it's hard to get me in that headspace of, like,
Mm.
"Oh, this is, like, groundbreaking," and,
Mhm.
like, this shit is dude, it's so good, man.
Especially when you're a connoisseur, man, like yourself, and you're doing it, there's like a certain amount of, I don't mean to be in a bad way, but a certain amount of snobbery because you're out there looking for the next good thing that's gonna satiate that kind of thing that, you know, that like
Yeah.
the artists are looking for. We're looking like you want a certain amount of familiarity in certain respects, but you wanna, especially somebody like yourself that kind of specializes in not making the same old thing, you know? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and so it's like you wanna hear somebody else not making the same old thing that
Yeah, dude, it's I felt I didn't feel alone when
mm,
I heard his
man.
album. I was like, "Oh, yeah." And he's young, dude, he's 25 years old.
Oh, no
Dude,
shit.
yeah,
Even cooler.
he's man, yeah. Jesse's already knows about him. I
Okay.
showed Jesse, G17, and Jesse was like, "Oh, shit." I was like, "Yeah, bro."
Okay, well, he's going on the
Yeah,
queue too.
yeah,
I gotta do
yeah, it's
that.
G17.
Yeah, I got him pulled up right here. It's cool. It looks cool, man. I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
one of the top comments I thought was funny when you were with, like, the first couple of videos when you blew up on with, the Kiesel announcements and stuff like that, there was a couple of people that are like, "Shit, man, watch out if Ando-san learns how to use a pick," you know? It's like, "We're all done for," and you're like, I do use a pick every now and again," I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but I but I thought it was one of the funny moments where I was like, "Oh," it caught me off guard because I hadn't even thought about you not using a pick, but then I was like, "Oh, shit," and part of my little podcast here is that throughout all the episodes, we take time and we talk about guitar picks a little bit. And I was gonna ask you, like when you got started. Oh yeah, look at the Ando song pick right there. Where'd you get that, bro? Where'd you
Aw.
get that? Who sent that to you?
Yeah, look, it's Kiesel,
Yeah,
yeah,
dude, the Kiesel branded. I love it.
yeah.
So yeah, I was just gonna ask you to walk us through a little bit. What do you remember about the early stages of guitar picks for yourself? Was there anybody that influenced you, like a teacher or a mentor around choosing a guitar
I
pick?
think I was around a lot of jazz guys, so they, like, used the small red.
Jazz 3, huh?
Yeah, the Jazz 3, so I was
Nice.
using that a lot, but, like, I never really thought about it, but, like, I kinda, like, bounce back and forth with, like, small picks and, like I actually like this pick. I like kinda, like,
Mm, that's a
medium
flow.
size.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, like, it's not super big, but it's, like, enough to where, like, it covers, like, the bases and, like, I don't feel like I have to, like, keep my hand all tight and shit, you know what I mean? But yeah, I was using, like, jazz threes when I was younger, and, man, it's hard to remember, man. Cause yeah, I was, like, dude, I was using picks a lot, like, I was in a prog metal band, I mean, I was doing a lot of fingerstyle, but remember, I was also in a death metal band, so,
that's what
like,
I'm thinking, yeah.
I would help write a lot of death metal riffs, so, yeah, a lot of, like, Dunlop stuff, and, I actually yeah, I use these picks to write a lot of the songs on my album, actually, yeah, because before that, I have, like, this thing, it's, like, full of picks. I was using this Fishman one wait, no, that's a Fender one. Yeah, I was using this Fender one for a little bit, and then this sick guitar player named Erica Fox.
Ooh, neat. Is
Yeah,
that
she gave
green?
me this pick, yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's
and,
cool.
I'm trying to see. I have more in here. I'm not a fan of, like, the floppy ones. This is a floppy one.
Yeah,
I don't really like the floppy ones, and, where is here? Oh, here it is, yeah, I was using this Fishman one for a while because they sent me this product, and they gave me, like, a bunch of picks, and I was using this one for a bit.
it's cool, it's like a celluloid looking kinda classic
Yeah,
Fender vibe, yeah, that's cool.
and then there's the white version
But
of
yeah,
the,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
this
got
is
the
the
Roswell.
Roswell. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't see because it's so white.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Shout out
it's
to Roswell Pro Audio and the cool microphone you're using there.
yes, 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 we could get into that, but
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, oh, yeah, okay. That's pretty much all the picks I have. Yeah.
That's cool, and when you're see, it sounds like along the way, it's kind of been maybe mostly whatever was around, but you kinda had jazz threes at the center of your early years. Is
Mhm.
that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
That's
I
cool, and
definitely did.
I think these ones that we sent you from Dunlop, I think those are 73s or 88s maybe? They're kinda like a medium Tortex
Mhm.
flow.
Yeah. They're nice, they're perfect. These are, like, literally the kinda picks I would wanna play. I've used them pretty much for, like, both of the shows I played this month and stuff. These are perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, the thing we've kind of been talking about, we've talked about your sound and kind of the identity of how things have come together, and I'm starting to kind of put the pieces together, you know. I'm curious, where when you do sit down to write, is there anything that is uniform about it? Or is it always kind of like a I'm effing around and finding out type of thing because I got one little line of a or a riff or a beat or something like that? How does it start for you?
So a lot of times, like I usually now, all right, let me talk about now. I usually have a riff. I start with riffs. Riffs are the foundation of everything that I write now, especially with my new EP that I came out with this year, the OK one. They all started with guitar riffs first. Dash Out started with that riff. All those songs. Originally, I used to like try to make a drum beat, like a cool drum beat, like produce a cool beat and then play guitar over it. Or sometimes I'll just sit down, just mess around on the guitar, see what I can come up with, and see what develops through that journey of me sitting down and just doodling on the guitar. A lot of times I have things in my head that I hear and I'm like, okay, let me play that. A lot of times also when I pick up the guitar, riffs just kind of float in my head and then I
Mm,
start playing. So I feel like that's kinda like what happened with this new album I'm working on. A lot of the riffs were just like I picked up the guitar, had like an idea, and I started tracking, and then I made a beat, and then that's when I started writing lyrics. It's like a whole process because sit down, I track the or sit down, come up with the idea, track the idea, make the beat, loop it, and then I start writing verses, you know?
mm.
I'll start like a 16 bar verse, 24 bar verse, or 8 bar verse for the chorus. Like I just start coming up with all sorts of things. And like there's a whole uh other thing like coming up with like cadence ideas or how I'm gonna say things too.
Mm,
Because a lot of times like I'll like have like a certain style and like again like cadence in my head of how I'm gonna rap things and like I won't have the lyrics, but like I'll like have the flow in my head and I'm like, okay, let me write lyrics to this flow that's in my head. That's like another that's how because there's so many different things happening when I'm making music because there's so many things I have to think about, you know? So, yeah. So that's kinda like how I go about it.
so and when you're doing the lyrics and you don't have them fully fleshed out, do you kind of do a little bit of gibberish around to try to kind of like find the accent points and then you kind of fill in the syllables, so to speak? Or
Nah, I'm not one of those punch-in artists. I like to write my lyrics. So I like to sit down, figure out what I'm gonna say, and I track it. So,
nice.
um I'm not the punch and click, just come up with some random stuff in my head. Like, no, like I have an idea what the song is going to be about, and I want to convey that. And a lot of times, sometimes I'll record parts of the song, and afterwards, the next day, I'm like, oh wow, I'm gonna evolve the song more. I'm gonna push the narrative to like a different place to kind of like create more of a cohesion of what's going on in my mind in that exact moment, you know? So I
Mm,
want that kind of helps me develop myself as an artist too, because I want to be able to write how I feel. And that's really
absolutely.
hard to do.
Well, you're exposing yourself, right? There's a certain amount of like vulnerability that's involved with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
hmm
And how do you feel about kind of exposing maybe the more angry, a little more the more aggressive side of yourself at this point? Do you feel continuitous? Does it feel I mean, you kind of mentioned you're like, I might stop doing angry music after this one for a little bit, 'cause like so I'm wondering how that feels to be kind of engaging in it.
Yeah, when I was younger, I kind of grew up in a bad neighborhood, you know? So everything that I rap about is stuff that I have experienced. And I feel like with OK, I was rapping about fighting a lot. And
Mm,
I was fighting a lot. I was getting in a lot of fights. I don't do that now because I'm a grown man. I can handle my emotions, you know. I also like fighting is very dangerous. Like, it's very, very dangerous. It's very violent and you can really hurt someone. So, but when I was younger, it was just a way of doing things, because, you had these gang bangers. Yeah, I was a nerdy black kid, but at the same time, I could fight.
Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
so I would get in a lot of fights, man, and and I think that kind of I tapped into that a little bit, like the young angry Brandon and stuff, and a lot of the times I had to like protect my family and stuff and little things like that. I didn't go out looking for fights, but if someone picked it with me, I would sure as hell would let the hands
Resolve it.
begin. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
But like I'm not like that anymore. And I felt that anger when I got back from tour. And that made me realize like, okay, there's like some unresolved stuff there. So let me
mm,
tap into that. And I'm very much a peaceful guy. And when people meet me, I'm super down to earth. I try to be. I don't know. I don't want to talk about how I conveyed or how I look to someone, but I really do believe that I'm very to myself and I try not to bother anybody. And
sure.
I think that's why when people listen to these songs and they meet me, they're like, "Oh wow, like he's kind of like chill." I'm like, "Yeah." But like a lot of the things, I've also like have like trauma and stuff, so like a lot of the stuff that I rap about, especially with my new album, kinda, like, helped me come to terms with some stuff in my head.
Mm,
I guess that's the gift of music, when you're an artist, it's like you kinda can tap into that stuff. It could be a gift or a curse because sometimes those things can just keep lingering and, like, artists can get trapped in, like, writing about the same thing over and over again. That's why I told you, like, this is gonna be, like, probably, like, my last angry album,
mhm, mhm.
you know,
That's cool,
because
because you're working towards resolving some of
yeah,
that stuff,
exactly. I
right?
don't
Yeah.
wanna like, my album Bipolar was pretty much about I have bipolar disorder, so that's why I named it
Oh,
Bipolar. So, that album was more or less talking about, like, my struggles with bipolar disorder, and that really helped me. That helped me better understand my brain. At that time, I was going to therapy, like, I was going to IOP and stuff,
what's
and
IOP?
it's intensive outpatient care or something like that. I forget.
Okay.
It's just like if you're a severely depressed individual, you probably got recommended IOP.
Okay. Well, and I mean, was it weird to take on the kind of the project of going into therapy, or did you kind of find that you had enough, depression or pain that kind of made it feel relieving to go and be a part of that?
In the beginning, it was weird, but I think my wife really helped me, man. She helped me, dude. Like therapy accompanied with her softness and love, like really helped me kind of I'm still dealing with it. Like
Sure.
having bipolar disorder sucks, but like I'm learning how to handle it and I understand like my triggers and I think when I was working on that album, like I started to understand like certain triggers that affect me. And like one thing I learned is like I can't put my bipolar disorder on anyone else, but because it's something that I have to deal with and I have to be able to manage. Luckily, I have a wife that is very understanding and has seen the ugly sides of me, and I've also seen the good sides. But I through those times I've kind of like learned to kind of like properly manage myself in a way where it's just like not where it's like super apparent that there's something wrong. Like I can kind of take myself out of the situation, work it out in my brain, and then just keep going. And also a lot of masking.
Mm, mhm,
So
yeah.
like
Yeah, all of
so
us do that, yeah,
yeah,
to
we
some
all
degree.
yeah, dude, yeah. So, but I felt like I've definitely become better at it. It's yeah, because I have bipolar depression. So yeah, like even like these last two shows, like the show I did in New York was super hard because my cousin died that week, and I
Oh,
was alone in New York, and like that was fucking super hard for me to do that show, but I did
sorry to
it.
hear that.
Nah, yeah, thank you, man. But it was hard for me to do that. I was thinking about making a video about like being an artist and dealing with grief. Like, I
Mm,
don't even know how
hmm,
I would go about talking about that, but yeah. Like I've seen a lot of like really cool Instagram videos of like artists talking about grief and how they deal with it. And a lot of it's like music and stuff, but I feel like there's so much more things that go into it, like deep psyche shit that like nobody really talks about. And it's like The brain is crazy, man.
Well, bro, I have to say kudos to you for all the different levels that you're speaking to here, doing therapy with the wife, making the necessary moves to balance yourself. I mean, it's nobody else is the thing that people wake up to at some point, hopefully, is that nobody else is going to come in and do it for you. You don't,
Mhm.
there's no magic pill,
No, man.
there's none of
Y
that stuff. And
Yeah.
I've had to start a bunch of times, and I'm thankful I have a movement practice. I'm into yoga and movement, and I lift some weights, and I'm at the gym a lot, and I'm trying to get, nutrition in order and stuff too, which is a constant state of like nebulousness that I'm trying to make more clear. But
Yeah.
you run anytime you go in to kind of become more fully awake to your situation, man, it pays in dividends. It may not always be a happy, comfortable thing, but you come out on the other side, like I'm sure at this point with the work that you've done and continue to do, you're finding out these little nooks and crannies, these little things about yourself. Like you said, you kind of know your triggers in a way now that are
Yeah.
where you can not get into a fight. There's not a reason to do that, right?
Yeah.
All the things take over and your reasoning capacities are more fully intact. And I'm
Mhm.
curious, I'm like, is there something outside of the music? Is there a physical practice? Do you have a meditation practice or any type of spiritual thing that kind of draws you in and grounds you?
Man. That's such a good question. Nah, dude. Like, I definitely, that's hard because I don't really consider myself, I'm not religious at all. Like, but in terms of like spirituality, there's something there and there's something
Mm,
that I recognize. I just don't have a practice per se. I guess you can say music is kind of that, like, but at the same time, like, I don't have like an outside like practice per se that I do to kinda tap into my spirituality. I guess the only thing that I can think of, like I said, is music, and, like, music is kind of like this ethereal thing in my head outside of all the music business crap. It's, like, always there, and it's always, like, just constantly I remember I was having a conversation with a friend, like, how, like, crazy it is just to record music and have, like, this sonic file, like,
mm,
transfer audio, and it's like, that's crazy to me, like, you can record, like, this piece of thing and then put it out and, like, people can listen to it, like, I don't know, and I know it's like
mhm,
a tech I don't even like dude, it gets even crazier when you think about, like, how music has, like, kind of, like even before recordings, like, people would have these songs that they would do, and, like, through generations, freaking millennia, like, these songs are kind of just, like, I don't know, um, I'm going off tangent, but I'm just thinking of just, like, how music just, like, transcends time in a way.
mhm. I mean, I'm following, and I think it's interesting too because it oftentimes with musicians, music is the primary meditation. It is the
Yeah,
primary mindfulness, and
yeah,
it's the primary way that we commune with something that is seemingly kind of outside of ourselves or transcendent from our internal world, right? And you can put some things together, put your voice into a thing, and then press send to your buddy or to a million people or whatever it is and be this is the thing that's kind of swirling in my head and I got it out. And then you can
yeah.
hear this thing that I was dreaming about. And so in a weird way, it's almost like, hey man, you a dreamer too? If you are, man, like I got some dreams I recorded. And
Yeah,
here's
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Try it out. See if you vibe with these dreams or these, little episodes that I kind of have come up with and you can maybe it's cathartic for you in a way that is similar or adjacent to how it was cathartic for me for putting it into play.
Yeah, humans are awesome, man. Because like, our ancestors just kind of, like, heard these sounds out in the wild, and they were like, "Yo, this shit is dope."
In fact, let's put that one on loop. That bird, woodchuck over there, like that,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they were
That
like, "Yo, that's sick, man. We gotta figure out to replicate that." Yeah.
it sounds like I mean you have such a obviously you have a close loving relationship with your wife for a long time and that relationship sounds like it's like a practice in itself,
Oh,
and
yeah, man.
like I think all relationship kinda is, but like the close relationship, the relationship is like it's the one where we work the things out that we're not gonna work any of the other stuff out with anybody else in the world. Like, your mom, your dad might be the greatest, but odds of you kinda working things out with them in a way that you can with your partner is, transcendent. Like, the partner can go, "No, no, no. Like you said, she's seen the worst parts of me, but she stayed, and we're still working it out. We
Yeah.
still love each other," and that, like,
Yeah.
through that, like, everything is stronger. Everything is and
Yeah.
the healing comes forth through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't count yourself out. You're doing, like, spiritual work in
Okay.
that capacity too, right? That
Yeah,
could
yeah,
be
yeah.
considered a day-to-day outward mindfulness practice, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's like this, like, never-ending dance of, like, just constantly, I don't know, like, creating, like, a safe space for the 2 people, 'cause,
Mhm.
we're both she's my best friend, man, like, I'm with her all the time, I love that. Like, there's some people that get tired of their significant other, but I never get tired of her, so I think she's really helped me. Oh, dude, like, even there's times I forget my other album, Seeing Pastures. That's the album after Bipolar, man. Seeing Pastures. I was going to quit music.
Whoa.
I was going to quit. That was gonna be my last album. But then the whole album, that album, Seeing Pastures, is about me wondering if it's even worth it following my dreams. So,
Right.
like, if you read the lyrics and you kind of like, if you can find the lyrics online, because I'm really bad at that. I need to start posting my lyrics more. But I I talk a lot about how it's hard for me to make this, like, following your dreams is kind of like suffering. Like, you're going to suffer, I feel, when you follow your dreams, because the status quo will not allow you to do what you love,
Mm.
I really do feel that way. Like, life, the way that life is built is you're not supposed to do what you love. Or the barriers of entry are very, very, very hard and is filled with just loneliness and just, like, sadness and depression. It's really fucked up. Like, it was my brain at that time, I was really, really, really just fucked up, man. Like,
Mm.
the reason why I named it Seeing Pastures, I named it Seeing Pastures after I finished it because I was kind of having like this inner dialogue with myself with each song. And then at the end of the album, I started to realize, like, okay, maybe the shit is worth it, And I named it Seeing Pastures because, I don't know, like, it's kinda corny, but, like, the grass is greener on the other side. Like, you see this beautiful green field and it fills you with hope and
Mhm.
stuff, and I think that's why I named it that. Yeah, if it wasn't for her, going back to my wife, if it wasn't for her, I would've quit, 'cause
Mm.
I told her, like, "Hey, man, we're not even making a lot of money, we're struggling, I should just fucking quit and just get a regular job." She's like, "Well, nah, because you already," she was like, "You're already making money off this. You'll be more unhappy if you go out and get a regular job and make the same amount of money." You
Truth.
know?
Mm. Truth. Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, that's true." And then there was just a lot of conversations like that. She really believes in me, man. So, like, she's just like, "Nah,
Priceless.
like, I will not allow you to stop. Like, you gotta keep going. Like, if you have gotten so far." She's been there since the beginning, since I started Ando. So, like, she's seen the upward trajectory. So I swear, if it wasn't for her, and even now, dude, I still think about, like, man, I should stop doing this shit, man. you know. But if it,
Bro,
dude, she's my biggest supporter, man. She's my biggest hype man, hype woman. She is. Oh man, she's number one fan.
that makes
Yeah.
me so happy, dude. I love hearing all of that because there's so much there. It's like, when you have if anybody could ever gain one person to believe in them, right? Like, you can kinda do anything. If one homie, it could be a significant other, that's great when it is, but if you got one, and it could be your mom, but that's a little bit weird because moms, like, think you can
Yeah.
do anything anyway, right?
Yeah.
You kinda
Yeah.
need somebody, like, outside the family unit usually, that's like, "No, dude, you got something, go for it," and you've got that with her, and you've got these kind of residual statements from some of your heroes that were
Yeah,
like,
and,
"Yeah,
the biggest thing for me is, like, I need to start believing in myself.
mm,
If I How are other people gonna believe in me if I don't believe in myself? I just, like, so deep down in my psyche, I do believe in myself, and I know I can do it, but all the little negative self-talk creeps up, and I actively protest those thoughts by continually making music and doing the thing that I'm doing now. So I still have the thoughts of like I should give up, but there's something in my brain that's telling me to keep going. Like, so I say all these things, but I'm still here and I'm still, doing it. And I think that's
mm,
perseverance is very key, and like maintaining even like a boundary with yourself, like stopping thoughts that creep up, like those weird things that come up in your head and like, oh, you're not enough. Stop it. Tell yourself to stop it. And I think that helps me. Like it helps me like shut the fuck up. Shut up, Brandon.
bro, but you're hitting on something that is great, and, I don't know if maybe you've heard this before, but I always remember it was either an interview or something with Bruce Lee, where what he was kinda being asked about his way of doing things, and he was like, "Oh, well, if I have a bad thought, if I have a negative thought," like, if in a perfect world, he would, like, write it down on a piece of paper and then set it on fire. Right? But if he couldn't do that, he would just imagine writing it on a piece of paper and setting it on fire and releasing himself from that negative, you know, like, intrusive thought, essentially,
Yeah.
because I mean, look at the precision and the repetition and, like, to become a Bruce Lee, like, it's not like you wake up you're like, "Okay, by Friday this week, I'm gonna have the abs of steel and I'm gonna do," it's like this consistent showing up and as you were describing earlier, like, there's a certain part of pain and suffering that comes along with an original path,
Yeah.
right? To achieve the thing that you're kinda meant to do. Like, some people kind of fall into a groove around it, but it doesn't mean that there's not, like, an enormous amount of work, and some of that work is overcoming the inner dialogue.
Mhm.
So you speaking to that and kind of I'm thankful because I think it will help a lot of people listening to be because everybody has a daily doubt
Yeah,
about things,
man.
and it's like, "Oh,
Dude.
what? No, shut up your inner critic,"
Yeah,
and move
man.
on, keep going.
The biggest battle, like, I never really understood this, but the biggest like, I never understood this for a while, but now I do. Now that I'm older, like, the biggest battle is always gonna be within yourself, like, always, dude, because you could be your own worst enemy, like, your own worst enemy. You could be your biggest hater. It's crazy, man.
Mm,
And, like, if
mhm,
you can't get that shit figured out in your head, then that is gonna be a reflection of your reality. You're gonna perceive things the way that you perceive things in your brain. If you fucking hate everything, then you're going to hate everything about living life and stuff, you know? And it's a constant battle of mindfulness and, like, trying to like you're saying, like, with the Bruce Lee thing, just kind of, like, in your head, just burning those things, you know? And I learned that from my wife, like, she's really good at kind of, like, just, like, she'll have something in her head, "Oh, stop," just push it away, and for a long time, I've had trouble with that. Like, even now, dude, like, I feel like every time you're about to break through, a lot of people say this, but I feel like I'm experiencing it now. Every time you're gonna have a breakthrough, like, there's always, like, these huge fucking hurdles that come,
mm, mm,
and, like, they challenge you. And it's like, what are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna stop? Are you gonna give up? Like even the New York shows, like man, like preparing for that, like that was I almost wanted to not do it at all. I didn't want to do it, but I
mm,
did it, and I'm glad I proved to myself that I could do it and handle the pressure because I was grieving at that time, and in my head I was like, "How am I gonna go on the stage and like smile at people and sing these songs while I'm like so fucked up in the head right now?" And like
yeah,
I kind of sat in the green room and I was just like, "Okay, I was everything that we're talking about. That's what I did." And I was like, okay, now I started putting all these thoughts in a file cabinet in my head. And I was like, okay, I could sort through them later. I have to do this thing. And then afterwards I can kind of like start, combing through things and start examining them and like processing them properly. So,
Yeah. Wow, man. That's probably an underreported aspect of any kind of performer or speaker. I know it in my own way through teaching yoga 4 and 5 days a week. Like,
yeah.
there are moments in my life and every year, every season where I'm hearing about I have a wide circle of people both in the music industry and locally, and I'm always hearing about somebody getting sick. I'm always hearing about somebody dying. I'm always hearing about somebody, getting divorced. I'm always hearing about like and it's just and it's not even I'm not even complaining about that because in a lot of ways I'm super thankful to be so connected. But sometimes the loss is it evokes such an emotional response in me, and I'm a crier, dude. Like I'm like
Yeah.
fuck. I'm like, it's like if it breaks loose, I'm like, "Oh shit, I feel that so deeply." And here I am, it's like a room full of people, and I'm supposed to be like, "All right, everybody, let's go. Inhale, exhale." It's like
Yeah.
there's a little bit of, I get the show must go on type of thing, and
Yeah.
you're like, so I kind of identify with that compartmentalization that you're kind of speaking to. 'Cause you can then, post that, "Alright, I'll open that file up and let myself, grieve it, let myself." But you have to be able to kinda and, it doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes you're, sick, essentially,
Yeah.
whether it's a physical thing or it's a mentally thing, you need a mental day, and,
Nah,
in your
definitely.
case, it's like, bro, I don't you can't really call out of a sold out New York
No.
show, you know? So that's a really difficult thing to
Yeah.
do, you know?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, it was the show up and fucking do it, man. That's
Yeah.
what it was, and I'm happy that I did it, you know. It was a good experience and made a lot of new fans. The messages I was getting from people afterwards, it was very nice and kind. President's fans, I don't know, do you know that band?
I don't know them, no.
Yeah, they're sick, dude, but their fans are so nice. They're
Really?
very nice, dude, like, super oh my god, they're so cool, dude. New York and LA, they were all very beautiful and nice, so I really appreciate them being so open to me because I know that when I played, I was like, "Oh, these people are gonna be like, 'What the fuck was that?'"
Mhm,
So
mhm.
so, yeah, they were cool, man. Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much for sharing, so much, and I feel like it's really nice. I know that, you're speaking to your vulnerability along the way in the creative process, but, getting the chance to talk to you and hear your stories today, like, in this way it's nice to add some depth to what we know about you and to
Yeah.
kind of fill in some of the maybe what people don't know, about where
Mhm.
you've been and how things are going for you. So I can't say thank you enough for, you taking the time.
No problem, dude, yeah. It's
It's
nice to
cool.
talk with like-minded people, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and it's not I've been meaning to have, sit down and talk with you. I know we haven't sat down and had a coffee, but at
Not
least,
yet.
we did not yeah, yeah.
It's alright.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
coming.
It's coming,
And I
yeah.
have coffee that I have my own coffee brand, and I'm gonna be bringing
Oh,
coffee with me to NAMM and stuff, so the idea is
dude.
I was gonna be handing out some coffee and, like,
Oh,
I'll send you
man.
some or bring
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a kind of I've got a bunch of side hustles, and,
Yes, dude.
one of them is, I love coffee, and so I'm always, I end up pairing up with a local roaster that, I really like, and they do a real clean operation, and I was like, I wonder just kind of my, artistic slash partially autistic, like, ADHD thing. I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, man, you know what? Nobody's really doing a coffee thing like I would like to see it." And I just started as a side project based off my last musical release. I was like, "Oh, we'll do some roasts for the album, for our EP." And then I was like, so many people like the coffee. I was like, "Shit, I guess maybe I should just keep getting people coffee, and I'll actually redo the label." And so it's been this weird year-long thing where I finally have the labels where I like them. I finally have all the roasts the way I like them. I finally all have and now I just gotta figure out the rest of the business stuff to kinda
That's so cool, man. Congrats. That's
Thank
sick.
you.
I'd love to try your coffee. You
Yeah.
sell it online?
Yeah, it kind of, yes. I'm almost there. That's been one of my little difficulties is, getting my website set up with the proper tax information on the background to
Yeah.
for the thing to so I'm, like, real close, but the brand is called Sacred Sound Coffee. You can go to
Sacred
Sacred
Sound
Sound Coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah, sacredsoundcoffee.com is my I have a little landing page that will get updated and actually look better soon. But I have four roasts and blends essentially. I mostly like medium and darker stuff, so I kind of have played towards that, and I love espresso style
Nice,
Italian
man.
blends, so
Yeah.
I've been kind of just doing what I like to do, and then maybe if you like it, and with a label and a branding that I think is cool. And I'm working with some other artists too, doing private label stuff for them.
Nice.
So that's kind of been interesting too. Devin Townsend and I have been working together for years, and we're trying to put something together for him and
Mhm.
maybe Paul Masvidal. Hey, if you want your own coffee brand, let me know. I'll, I'll make the Ando-san roast in a heartbeat, bro.
Oh,
What you
man.
want? Tell me.
That's
Tell me.
cool.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's interesting things on my end, cool times, and I'm glad to be back on the podcast talking to people that are really interesting to me, and you've been on the list. I'm like, man, I need just to start the podcast up just to talk to Ando. Like that was like I was kind of, and I had to do a couple of them to get warmed up, and I'm glad that this worked out for us today. Any final thoughts that you might give the people that are out there kind of like looking up to you, like you maybe back in the day were kind of looking at Tosin and your other heroes.
Yeah.
Is there anything that, communications that you might want to impart to the younger generation following your footsteps?
Yeah. I think it's very, very important to build a community of people that understand your vision. And I think that is something that I'm building now. It's something that I'm just now finding. But like the most important thing, in my opinion, is to believe in yourself first. And then once you kind of cultivate that mindset, people will start seeing the vision. Because a lot of times people are scared to start things, and people are scared to start things because they're scared to fail. And there's going to be a lot of failure that happens with this stuff, but you only fail, and I really do believe this, you only fail if you stop. Like if you just stop, even then, like it's okay to fail. It's okay to pause and kind of take a little back seat from the thing that you're trying to do. Take some breathing room, because you have a lot of a lot of these weird influencers. They're like, "Oh yeah, failure's not an option," and all. Fuck all that shit, dude. Like sometimes you just need a breather. Get back to it though. Like you could take a break for a couple months. You can, But in terms of guitar and all that stuff and music, like always make time for it. And if you want to make it your career, you just have to be head fast, headstrong, and just have a belief in yourself. And patience is a virtue, because you need to have patience. Like, y'all, I've been doing this thing for 7 years.
Mm.
7 years. And I still have a long way to go, But if you want to make this a career, you want to make this your livelihood, you got to have patience and you got to grow it steadily. So I think that's what I have to say.
I love that, man. Thank you for that. Well, I know that my hope for you, I mean, I want you to have all the success that you are, that's due to you, but like my thought when earlier on we were talking, I was like, I don't think people know it yet, but they definitely want to see you at halftime, bro. They want to see you at halftime. I want to see you halftime stage at the Super Bowl, bro. Like, come on, let's do it. I'm here for it. I'll be
Oh,
your guitar tech, no charge, bro. Let me know.
thanks,
I'll pay
man.
my own flight to come down there, wherever it's at. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
hey, man, if I'm at that time, I should be paying your damn flight if I played the Super Bowl, man.
hey, you can bless me any way you want, bro. But I'm telling you, if you make it anywhere near big, anything like that, like, dude, just let me know, dude. If you need somebody to fly out and tune your guitars and keep you calm in the background, I'm your guy, dude. I'm
I
there.
appreciate that, man. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, yeah. I hope you have an incredible day and the rest of your weekend, bro. And again, just thanks for all the time. And extra special thanks for being such a incredible artist in my world, because this is my world and I deal with a lot of people, and you're a shining beacon, like a shining beacon of somebody that does quality work, quality communication, quality music. I mean, if somebody was say, what if you got one word for Ando-san, I'd be like quality. Like, I mean,
I
it's like
appreciate it.
top shelf, and so keep going, and thank you.
Thank you, man. Thanks so much.
Cool, man. I'll talk to you real soon, brother. Have a great rest of your day, okay?
Peace, man.
Players Pick Podcast. Picks and perspective with Chris Johnson. Perfect. pathetic.